Hey guys, so on this video, I'm going to be explaining how exactly you can take trades from Daniel Lopez and Nick Gomez on the crypto, section on Jifu. Now, Daniel and Nick, they mainly trade Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. And if they, add any other pairs in the future, I'll do another video, updating it and explain how exactly you can take trades, on those pairs. But today we're going to be mainly talking about Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Now, one thing you should note, guys, is that the lot sizes you are going to use in taking these trades are going to be very, very different from what you would normally use when you are taking trades on normal currency pairs. So, you don't make that mistake of using the lot size that you're using here on crypto to, the lot size that you use on, normal currency pairs. I would personally advise that you have a separate trading account for crypto trades and separate one for currency pairs so that you don't make that mistake of lot sizing, although you can still use the same trading account, but you know just don't make that mistake of using the same lot sizes, because the lot sizes here are crazy. Now, another thing as well, I am doing this video on the cool markets broker. So any other broker, their calculations or whatever might be different. So if you're watching this video, I would advise you to use cool markets broker to do this, because this is where I'm doing the example, and this is actually the broker that I personally use. So if you are not registered to go, whoever registered you into the academy, just ask them for a link to get registered into the cool markets broker. So now, moving on. Now, if a trade idea is being dropped now for Ethereum USDT, let us use Ethereum now. Now, for normal currency pairs, if you are trading like normal forex, you'd know that the minimum lot size you can use is 0.01. But for Ethereum USDT, the minimum lot size is 0.1 that you should use. 0.1 is the minimum lot size that you should use. And here, guys, 100 pips equals to $1 using the minimum lot size on crypto. 100 pips is equals to $1 using the minimum lot size on crypto here on cool markets. Now, Ethereum USD. If they say, okay, take a trade on Ethereum USD, let us use this one now. Let me look for one. Okay, so that one was Ethereum. Okay, let's say now you got the trade idea like this now on Ethereum USD, and they said that you should buy. Bullish means buy, bearish means sell. So you were told that you should buy, and they gave you your entry. Your entry was 2450. So anywhere from 2450 to 2400, that's where you should take the trade. So 2450 was where you should buy. So what you're going to do now is, number one, come here and set a buy limit. Come here and set a buy limit. So they said the potential zone is 2450. So, and they're normally going to, okay, no, they didn't send this. But yeah, potential zone was 2450. So what you're going to do is that you want to set a limit. So you set that limit for 2450. So you ask on the groups if it is, a buy limit or if it is a sell limit. But in this case now, it was a buy limit. So you put it there, 2450. So you put in the price of 2450. Then put in the stop loss as well. And the stop loss is 20. So the invalidation is the stop loss is 2350. So the stop loss is 2350. Then the take profit is so the potential exits are the take profit. So this first one, 2500, that is TP1 basically. 2550, that's TP2. Then 2620, that is TP3. So maybe you want to use TP2 now, for example. Let's say you want to use TP2. So TP2 is 2550. Now, this is where it is very, very important, so that you do not use the wrong lot size. Now, guys, like I said, 100 pips equals to $1 when you're using the minimum lot size. So for Ethereum USD, 2450 to 2460, 2450 to 2460, that's equals to 100 pips. So if you were to use 2450 to 2470, that would be equals to 200 pips. So I'm sure you guys can now see, like, can now understand what I'm saying. 2450 to 2470, that is 200 pips. 2450 to 2480, that is what? That is now 300 pips. You understand? That's 300 pips. So I'm sure you guys now understand this trend. So now what you want to do is that you want to check, okay, from the entry to the invalidation. So now, for example, the entry to the invalidation, what is the space here? This is 2450 towards 2350. So that is now 1,000 pips. So if that is 1,000 pips, that simply means that, okay, 100 pips equals to $1. So that means 1,000 pips should what? Equals to $10. So if you're using the minimum lot size, what would you be doing? You would be risking just $10 on this potential trade idea using the minimum lot size. And if you still, do the same calculations, 2450 to 2550, that is you, potentially making $10 if this trade goes in the right direction. You understand? So you always want to calculate your risk, guys. Risk management is very important. So you know the exact lot size to use. Now, let's say now you were risking, $10 now on this trade as we calculated, using the minimum lot size, and maybe you have, maybe you want to be somebody that is risking maybe $20 per trade. In my previous risk management trainings, I've talked about, how much you should be risking according to your account size. So maybe you're somebody that wants to be risking $20 per trade. So rather than using 0.1, what are you going to do? You're going to use 0.2 so that you can what? You can risk $20 on this particular trade. And you adjust your lot sizes according to how much you want to risk for that particular trade. So this is how you calculate, for Ethereum USD. You understand? Sometimes it's going to be a buy limit. Sometimes it is going to be a buy stop. Sometimes it is going to be market execution. But just always, you can always confirm. Sometimes if you're not too sure, then eventually you get the hang of it. So this is for Ethereum USD. Now for XRP, this is also another trade. This is also another currency or crypto that they normally call out on the crypto channel. And now this is an example. Now for XRP, XRP, the minimum lot size you can use on XRP is 100. So now this might scare a lot of people. This is why I was saying that you might want to have separate accounts so that you don't make a mistake sometimes. So the minimum lot size you can use on XRP is 100. So if you want to, back to our playbook, you can see that 100 pips equals to $1 using the minimum lot size. So this is the minimum lot size, which is 100 lots. Now if there was a trade called out on XRP, you can see that the potential zone was 2.34. so there are a lot of numbers in XRP, but I always want you guys to focus on the first 3 digits. The first 3 digits is where you should really pay attention. The other numbers, you don't really need to pay attention to that, but the first 3 digits on XRP in terms of the market price, that is what you always want to really, pay attention to. So they said, bullish. So we're going to, let's say, set the buy limits. We're going to set the buy limits. Then 2.34, that is the zone. 2.34, that is the zone. So we're going to put it at the price. So the price is 2.34. That's the most important zone. So we don't need to put any other numbers after we've put 2.34. Then the stop loss is in the invalidation is 2.26. 2.26. Then the exit 2.38, 2.43, 2.50. So let's say we're going to use 2.43. Now that you've put this, again, you always want to confirm, your lot size. You always want to confirm your lot size. I also want to confirm on how much you're risking. Now, as you guys can see, for XRP, the difference between 2.34 and 2.35, that is 100 pips. Now, if it is 2.34 and 2.36, that is now what? That is now 200 pips. Then if it is 2.34 to 2.37, that is now what? That is now a difference of 300 pips. So you can see that, the pips on XRP and Ethereum is quite different in terms of where the numbers are actually starting. So you always want to take note. So now, for example, this trade, you can see that it is 2.34 and 2.26. So our entry is 2.34 and the stop loss is 2.26. So that difference now, you can easily just even go to your calculator. So if I think this is even easier, 2.34 minus what? 2.26. So 0.08. So that's basically it's 800 pips. You understand? This is basically 800 pips. So 800, or instead of doing that, so if you can do this instead, 34, which is the last number. So 34 minus 26 0.8. So that's 800 pips. So the difference between 2.34 to 2.26 is what? 800 pips. So that means you would be risking $8 on this trade using the minimum lot size. And the minimum lot size is 100. So if you wanted to take this trade using this 100 lots, you would be risking $8. So if you wanted to increase it, so maybe you wanted to risk, $16. So if you want to risk $16, what would you do? You would increase your lot size to 200. So now you will now be risking $16 on this particular trade. Now, guys, if you're watching this video and there are still some things you don't understand, don't feel shy to ask any questions. We'll be happy to help. Clarify anything that you do not understand. So yeah, basically, if you're calculating your risk for this trade, you would be risking 800 pips, and 800 pips isn't the minimum lot size. That is $8. If you want to increase your lot size to maybe 200 lots, that is now $16. If you increase it to 300 lots, that is now $24, and so on and so forth. So this is for XRP. This is how you calculate for XRP to know the exact lot size that you should use according to your account size. And the last but not the least, Solana. I think Solana is quite easy to understand because there are not a lot of numbers. So for Solana, I think the minimum lot you can use for Solana is 1 lot. So the minimum lot you can use for Solana is 1 lot. And for Solana, if the trade is given, the difference in 100 pips is, let's say now 181.00 to 182.00, that's 100 pips. 181.00 to 183.00, that is 200 pips difference. I feel like this one is the easiest to understand. So it's quite easy to understand Solana. If you now even go all the way to 190, the difference between 181.00 to 190.00, that is 900 pips. So I think Solana is the easiest to understand. So if a trade was dropped on Solana, and let me look for her. So let's say a trade was dropped on Solana, they said the potential zone was 174. 174. The potential zone was 174. So we'll put it there, 174.00. Stop loss is 189.50. 189.50. Then the take profit is 179. So I feel like this one will be quite easy to understand. 179. So if you also want to easily just check how many pips, you can just go to your calculator. 174 minus 169 dots. So basically 450 pips. So basically this trade, the stop loss is 450 pips, and the take profit is 400 pips for TP1. So once you calculate this, so using the minimum lot size, 450 pips, you'll be risking what? You'll be risking $4.5. Basically, you'll be risking $4.5. Then for the take profits, $4. If you want to take, a higher take profit, you'll be also, have the potential to make more as well. So I think this was quite straightforward. And in terms of calculating risk, in terms of knowing the lot size to use, for, these trade ideas. And also, guys, remember, it's not every time that it is going to be a buy limit. Sometimes it is market execution. What you always want to do once the trade is given, once you get the notification that the trade is given, you want to come and check if it is around the entry price. You understand? Like now, for example, let us say the trade was called out, and let us say the entry price was 169 for Solana. The entry price was 169 for Solana. And you click on trade. You already see that, this number that is just above sell by market, you've already seen that, we are already around the entry price. So you don't even need to set any pending order. So what you just need to do is, go ahead using market execution and take the trade. You understand? It's not every time that it's going to be a buy limit or a sell limit. Sometimes it is already at the entry price. So you just take the trade, once you see it at the entry price. But if it is not there, you set your pending order, you set your buy limit, your sell stop, your sell limits, whatever, whatever it might be. Sometimes the cases may differ. So, always just pay attention, know what you're doing. With time, the more you practice this, the more it will become natural. So don't expect to be phenomenal the first time you're trying this. Take your time, watch this video again and again, ask questions if you do not understand anything, and we'll definitely be happy to help. Remember that this is on Core Markets. I don't know any other broker that, I can really do this on. So yeah, use core markets if you really intend to trade with Daniel and Nick with this system that I've just used, because other brokers might have different systems, but with this system that I've just used, core markets is going to, it's going to be the best in terms of this system that I've just used. Other brokers might have other systems. You can also reach out to your uplines in case you're using other brokers. But for core, yeah, this is what we use. And yeah, if you do have any other questions, do not feel shy to ask. Make sure you ask so that you don't make any mistakes and you don't do anything that is going to cost you money. So yeah, thank you guys again. If you have any questions, do not feel shy to ask.